Hey guys, and welcome back to Banished, Covenant Canon. Ever since the Xbox showcase of 2020, we have been waiting so patiently for any footage or any details regarding Halo Infinite's campaign. Well, yesterday, our prayers were finally answered. We were given an overview video regarding the campaign of Halo Infinite, which showcased a lot of great details regarding the overall campaign, the open world segments of the game, along with new enemy types, and the reveal of big characters that everyone is talking about today. I'll be breaking down Halo Infinite's campaign overview, at least where it comes to the Banished side. But before I get into the particulars, let's get a look at the campaign overview.
Since the beginning, Halo was about Master Chief and Cortana, partners protecting humanity. But that is now a distant memory. Humanity is fighting for survival. The Banished have risen, defeated our heroes, and taken control of the mysterious Zeta Halo. We need a savior. We need hope. We need Spartan 117, Master Chief.
We have a new mission, soldier.
What is it? What's down there?
A weapon.
A weapon? How many guns do you need?
In the biggest campaign to date, Halo Infinite invites players to become Master Chief and discover true Spartan freedom in the most wide-open and adventure-filled Halo experience yet. But Chief won't be alone on the journey. His first mission is to retrieve a new AI, codenamed the Weapon.
It's been 6 months. Where have you been?
Following the events of Halo 5, Master Chief is searching for the answer to a troubling question. What happened to Cortana?
I was created to lock down Cortana, but I don't know why. What did she do that was so wrong?
Order received. Stand by.
The answer is somewhere on Zeta Halo. A damaged world full of wonder, mystery, and danger. And at every turn, the Banished are hunting Master Chief and the remnants of the UNSC.
Victory is already ours. We will meet on the battlefield.
The Banished army is spread across the surface, building fearsome strongholds and outposts with no one to stop them. Until now. From the beginning of the Halo saga, Master Chief has been a hero, ready to fight and win against impossible odds.
Our weapons online! Chief, is that you?
You're safe now. Incoming.
But what if it's a friend?
It isn't.
Players now have more freedom than ever before to take down the Banished any way they choose.
Banished facility up ahead, Chief. Some kind of salvage operation. What do we do?
Shut it down. Permanently.
have here.
Fight me!
Do you see that? Could be useful, if you like that kind of thing.
Oh, I like it.
Halo Infinite allows us all to become Master Chief, doing what Spartans do best, defying the odds to take down the Banished. Piece by piece. This won't be an easy fight. Master Chief will take on returning favorites and surprising new threats like the agile Skimmers, a sadistic Spartan killer named Jaga Urdomnai.
Say goodbye.
Look out, Chief. He looks...
Angry.
And something even more threatening.
The Forerunner's lies are at an end. I am the Harbinger of the truth. You are not the future.
Exploring this vast and fractured world will put Spartan 117 to the ultimate test. But where there is courage, there is hope. Welcome to the new era of Halo.
Is everyone trying to kill you?
It kind of seems like it.
Holy crap. That was amazing. I honestly am just blown away by how well detailed this overview is. Now let's break down some of the Banished sides that we've seen thus far. So here we get a first glimpse at a Banished base, or stronghold as it's officially called. I must say, these tower-like fortresses are amazing. There's definitely more of a Jirohanai resemblance in these Banished strongholds than we've seen with other Covenant bases in Halo Wars 2. The markings on the base have some sort of Jirohanai insignia. Maybe it's the symbol of a clan or legion occupying the stronghold. Though it's probably just a identifying marker for a Banished stronghold. But I digress. Next up, we enter a Forerunner facility which the Banished seem to occupy. And given the devices that are attached to the Forerunner pillars in the structure, it stands to reason that the Banished are siphoning off power in this Forerunner facility. Makes sense given what we know thus far of the Banished's mining operations, especially on the Ark. Here we see Chief flying a Banshee through some sort of shipyard, which the Banished seem to be occupying, with the Banished AA turret seen in the distance. I can't help but wonder if this is an extension to the campaign footage we saw last year. I want to stop at this moment where we see Pax Cortana, the original Cortana from Halo CE to Halo 5, this time in her classic CE colors, looking at what appears to be a UNSC space station. From what I can gather, it kinda bears a resemblance to Anvil Station. At least how it originally looked in Halo Online, before that game was scrapped. There's nothing much to say about it, I just thought I might point it out. But anyway, let's continue. As the Chief is selecting a vehicle drop with a Wasp, we see in the distance several Banished ships. I can't help but wondering if this specific ship is in fact a Carve. Carves are basically siege and invasion warships. These were introduced in Halo Shadows of Reach. It could just be an altogether new Banished ship, but I'm gonna bet my hard-earned money that this is in fact a Carve. Next up we see Chief popping out of a Wasp into a Banished base, and it looks like a deep mining expedition. And here we see that strange symbol again, next to a Banished insignia. And there's a couple Banished wraiths being constructed on the far left. There's not much else to say about it, I just thought to point it out. And here we get a full look at the Jackal Sniper in Rutian Kigyar phenotype, wielding a stalker rifle. It looks in my eyes, like a Banished modification of the pulse carbine. Maybe it will function in a similar role as a beam rifle or maybe a focus rifle. Though it's probably the former, but I thought to just brainstorm. And here we get one of my favorites, War Chief Escharum in full updated glory. Definitely an improvement over last year. You can already tell with his facial expressions and basically his eye colors. They are definitely a welcome change. And here we see a Banished brute breaking through the doors and facing the Master Chief. I said this before last year, but I love this brute design. It looks like a berserker type brute, unstable and ready to charge to battle. And I love the updated war paint on his face. I always appreciate this level of detail. But just as this brute is breaking down the door, we can see a hologram at the bottom right. This is none other than Atriox himself. Yep, the War Master is in Halo Infinite, at least as a hologram. This is reinforced when we jump to Chief's point of view. Not sure if he's actually in Infinite, or if this is just a hologram as some sort of morale boost for the Banished. Sort of like how the Prophet of Truth had his holograms throughout Halo 3. But regardless, I am so glad to see the War Master in here. Hopefully we'll be able to see the War Master in the flesh at some point in the campaign. And here we get our first glimpse at the Mecha Golo as they return in Halo Infinite. And I've got some things to say about its color. While I'm glad it's retaining a Halo 4 and 5 look, I'm somewhat disappointed that it chose to sport the Halo CE colors rather than sporting Banished colors. I've been for the most part lenient with how 343 is using the traditional Covenant colors for the Banished characters, but I was hoping for at least the Hunters they would sport a more Banished look. It's just a nitpick on my end, I'll get over it, but still I had to voice my concern. But regardless, I love that the Hunters are returning. These wormy beasts are so fun to fight. Next up, we see Chief wielding a sniper rifle and taking out several Banished, and also freeing some UNSC survivors. It looks like, from here, that the Banished are capturing humans. Makes sense given that humans have an affinity with Forerunner technology. And they're on a Halo ring, so that definitely makes a lot of sense. Anyway, when Chief takes out several Banished, he takes out the control module that's binding the UNSC forces. And I kinda like this new energy rope system. Kinda curious on what the Banished have in store for these humans. Anyway, it shows the survivors fighting off some Banished while Chief takes them out with his grapple shot, and he loads them up in his Warthog and flies off the edge. And next up, we get something of a introduction to a mini-boss. As some of you may know, Halo hasn't had the best of luck with bosses in the past. Halo 2 is a prime example. It tried it again with Halo 5, and while that was an improvement, it still left a lot to be desired. Anyway, we see a brute coming down an elevator and facing Chief. This brute is apparently called Tremonus, and he sports something of a mix between the traditional warrior look and the captain look, and he seems to be wielding a bullshot. Anyway, it shows Tremonus has something of a health bar, something I'm kinda iffy about. I have nothing against it, mind you, it's just something that I don't think kind of fits with Halo. Hopefully 343 will give us the ability to disable this. And next up, we see Chief reaching a Banished salvage operation known as Ransom Keep. I know I'm probably gonna overthink this, but Ransom Keep? It kinda sounds like a Sangheili base for me, even though we see a lot of brutes in it. It's probably not the case? It's probably just my Sangheili brain thinking right now. Anyway, Chief takes down several silos with a rocket launcher and storms in with a chopper. And the Banished chopper just looks amazing. It definitely looks reminiscent of Halo 3's chopper, but it also sports amazing Banished colors. It's the best of both worlds in my opinion. And here we have something else that kind of annoys me. Here we have the return of the Halo Wars 2 Phantom. I've said this before last year, but I gotta say this again. I am not a fan of this blocky and toyish look of the Banished Phantom. I was hoping we were able to get something look a little more better than this. And it looks like they kept the Halo 5 plasma turret. And honestly, it just doesn't fit with the Phantom. I just don't know why 343 decided to implement this rather than use any Banished turret. I don't know. It just looks off to me. But on the plus side, we have a gilded armor warrior leaping out of this Phantom, wielding a rocket launcher. It's very nice to see that brutes are again using UNSC weapons. It's definitely an homage to Halo 2, where we saw brutes wielding shotguns as opposed to traditional brute shots or other Covenant weapons. It's really refreshing to see this trait return. After that, we see Chief getting into a Banished Banshee, which, in my opinion, just looks amazing. It has the best of Halo Wars 2's color variation and Halo Reach's design for the Banshee. It's just perfection. And here, we get something of a recreation of 2020's campaign demo, but instead of wielding a commando, Chief is wielding a shock rifle, and instead of the berserker brutes that pop out of these exploding drop pods, we see regular Banished miners. Nothing really to say here, it's just great. I just love seeing more Banished stuff. And finally, we get 3 reveals that I think everyone is talking about right now. First, we're introduced to a new aerial type enemy called Skimmers. These Skimmers seem to be tearing apart what looks like something of a monitor, and it seems that they're very volatile to this single machine. My theory is that these Skimmers are in fact a part of the Covenant Fringe. I think the Banished recruited them at some point during the Created Uprising. Hell, maybe even before that. And next, we get the pièce de résistance. We get our first introduction to Jaga Rudamnai. And god damn, he looks amazing. Ever since his toy was released last year, I have been waiting so impatiently to see him in his full glory. And god damn, they do not disappoint here. I just love his design with his robot arm, his energy blade that comes out of that arm, and his red blood blade. But all in all, he just looks amazing and I cannot wait to fight him in the campaign. And after that, we're finally introduced to the Harbinger. And he, or rather she, isn't what I was expecting at all from this character. From what I could tell from her dialogue, she seems to be an ancient presence, kinda like the Didact from Halo 4. But she doesn't seem to be a Forerunner, as the Harbinger seems to have a hatred of the Forerunners, and apparently humanity itself. The most probable theory I have of this character right now is that she's a precursor. But that's just my wild theory. It's probably not even close to that, but I thought to mention it. And here, we end off the video with Chief climbing into the Pelican just as a Forerunner device is about to activate. And the overview ends with a pre-render of Eshram himself. At first, many people thought that this was an in-game cutscene, but 343 denied this. And for good reason, as this was actually a teaser for a trailer that came out today. A Banished version of the trailer we saw last year at the Xbox showcase. Nothing really to say about it, but let's just watch it just so we can embrace in Eshram's full glory.
Hope. It makes you weak. Humanity clings to the belief that a savior will come, that a hero will rise, shrouded in armor, to save you. It won't. Armor can be broken, bodies shattered. When you look back on these last days, you will realize that all you've built was a tomb. A place where hope dies.
Hell yes, it's about time we get more Banished trailers. But what do you guys think of the campaign overview video and this video? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time guys, may the eyes of Aatrox watch down upon you all.